So first of all, I do these talks a lot throughout the country, but most of my talks are based on hockey, my career. Let's throw out some hockey stories and just that sort of vibe. So when I got the opportunity to come to a Christian college and do a talk about my faith, I jumped at it. I, much like Vito, kind of came into my faith a little later on in life. So it's really great to see this event throughout the country. I live in the States now, but I'm from Canada. It seems like there's an attack on the kids these days. I have 5 daughters, like you guys know, and it just seems like the kids are under attack, whether it's from the internet, whether it's from their peers, whether it's from TV. There's just so much negativity out there, and they just get bombarded with it on a daily basis. And for you guys to take the time out of your day to raise money and to really invest in the student athletes here, it's really, really great. You don't see this at all. So I commend everybody here, and I just thought of this sitting down because it's so great to hear the testimonies of people, and you're doing good work. You're doing God's work. So commend everybody here. So thank you for that. Anyways. And I will be talking to the president when my kids get old enough, because my oldest is 7, so, and then Natalie, we need to talk about soccer lessons because I'm going to have some athletes on my hands. My wife's 5'11", so we're going to be, and everybody here is tall. I don't know what is or isn't in the water here, but it's amazing how, I'm usually by far the tallest person in the room, and there is everybody's tall here. It's crazy. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm sure some of you do, but my name is John Scott. I was born in Edmonton, like you said. I moved east when I was 5. I had a big tornado come through and rip my trailer out. So we had to move east with my family, my dad, my brother, my mom, and my other brother. So like I said, I did not grow up in the faith. And it's funny when I look back now, I can see God working in my life the whole time. And at the time, you're completely naive to it. You just think, oh, I'm really lucky. That's pretty cool. I did this and that. But God has a plan for everybody, and I'm just going to tell you how he kind of impacted my life and hopefully sprinkle some nuggets of leadership and perseverance along the way. All right, anyways, I played minor hockey throughout my life. Like most boys, I dreamed of playing in the NHL. I wasn't the best player, wasn't the worst player, but I got along. So I played novice, mites. When I hit the Pee Wee levels, for some reason, I just stopped liking hockey. I thought it was too much. There was too much work involved. My coach wanted me to do off-ice training. I was like, what are you, crazy? I'm not doing that. And so I quit. I had been playing with the same group of guys for 6 years now. They were my best friends. So it was a big decision. And I just kind of walked away. I said, I'm not doing this. It was funny. We went to train. My coach came to my door. She's like, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. She's like, let's go to the school. We're going to put you through a workout. I'm going to show you what we have in store. So we got to the school. She's like, run a lap around the field. I got a quarter of a lap around the field. I said, I'm done. And I went home. And when I look back at my life, that was the most embarrassing moment of my life, because now when I look back, I'm like, what a coward. Who were you? This lady's trying to improve you and you're just giving up. And at that time, I was 16. Hockey was a big deal in my life. This was my draft year coming up, and I just cut bait and left. So I quit hockey for 2 years, and then it's funny, I went and played house league, and I don't know, there's superior athletes here. You guys are the best at what you do. So it's like going from a high level, then going and playing with people who just learned how to play hockey. So I was the best player. I was by far, I won MVP of the league 2 years in a row. I went from league championships. And you would think I would be just on cloud 9, this is great. But I was just like, this is so boring. And this is where I think God entered my life the first time. He's like, what are you doing? You have these talents, you have to use them. Come on. And for some reason, he put this little seed in my head, let's try to get back on track here. So I had to humble myself. I went back to the same coach, because at this point, you had the same coach throughout your whole kind of minor league career. And so I went back to her. It was a girl. And I said, can I please come back on the team? And we went to the school. She's like, let's go. It was in the summer, and she's like, we're going to do the workout that you wouldn't do 2 years ago. And I was like, okay. And I didn't work out. I was 17 at this time. And I ran around the field. We did our pull-ups. It wasn't a hard workout, but we did it. And I kind of, learned a little bit about hard work and humbling yourself and not thinking you're too good. Because I could have easily just been like, No, like I'm good. I'm winning championships in house league. Like life's good. I'm the king of the losers, I guess you could say. But it's funny. I was a big Notre Dame fan at that time, and Lou Holtz was the coach. And he had this quote, and it was, "Nobody ever drowned from sweat." And so that's where I kind of learned the hard work pays off. Where if you put the work in, you get the right outcome. So that's where I kind of, it's funny when you look back, you have these building blocks, like decisions where you could have went boom left or boom right. It's like a fork in the road. And luckily I made the right choice at that time. And I'm sure it's happened to everyone here where you have this opportunity to, well, should I go to Trinity West or should I go somewhere else? And that was the first instance where I made a decision where like, okay, I'm going to really kind of, I hate to use the word invest in my future. I'm going to go and try to, play with the big boys, with my friends again. So it was a big leap, but I did it. After that, I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go play at Michigan Tech University. And this is where my story kind of, at this point, listen, I'm not the best player in the world. I'm still middle of the pack. My draft year came and went. I did not get drafted to the NHL, surprise. But I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go to Michigan Tech. It was a partial scholarship, so I still had to pay my way a little bit. My parents supported me a little bit. But this is where I believe God also, and I'm Catholic, so I'm not a Catholic at this point. I have never gone to church in my life. Much like Vito, I had some vices where beers, that sort of thing. So I enjoyed having fun. But God works in funny ways. So I always believed, and this is where, I don't know where this came, and I learned this from coaches along the way, no matter what you do it good. So when I was younger, I worked at McDonald's, I worked at Tim Hortons, I worked for my dad in construction, sweeping, digging ditches. I don't care what you do, and this is where I usually swear in my speeches, but I'm not going to today. But if you're shoveling poo, be the best poo shoveler there is. You know what I mean? Don't complain. If you're working McDonald's like I used to work at McDonald's, I made the best burgers in the restaurant. I made donuts for Tim Hortons for a summer. My donuts were perfect. And I believe that this is a problem in our culture nowadays where people they want to get by, especially kids these days. They don't have that work ethic instilled in them. They just want everything handed to them. They just want to be patted on the back and say, you know what, you're doing great. You're doing fantastic. No one ever looks them in the eye and says, pick it up, man, like you're struggling. And so I believe that is a huge lesson that I know Trinity Western is instilling in the kids, where you're not the best. There's someone that's always better than you are. There's always going to be someone that's better than you are. You're not perfect. You sin all the time. I sinned this morning probably. I don't know. But you always strive to have to be better. And that's where I think you have to instill that in kids these days. And luckily, I believe in my college years, I was instilled in that. I had a coach. We talk about leadership. People ask me about leaders all the time. Who did you look up to? Who were your best coaches? Who were your best captains? My first really, really impactful coach was my coach in college, where he came to me and he said, you have an opportunity to do something. You have an opportunity that no one else has. You're 6'8", for Pete's sake. Like, use it. People look at you because you're huge. You're not a good hockey player. This is my coach telling me this. He's like, we were the last place team in our conference, and I wasn't playing. So that says a lot. But he says, you have something people don't have. You have a gift. And he didn't say God-given, but it was a gift from God, and you have to utilize it. And it was my size. So I made a decision at that point where I'm going to go to the rink first. I'm going to be in there. I'm going to work extra. So our practice would start at 4. I'd be on the ice at 3:30. Practice would end at 5. I'd stay on until 5:30. And I did that for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And at first, you don't see many, differences, but then all of a sudden, now I'm playing. Now I'm, on the second D pairing unit. Now I'm the best defenseman on the team. And it just happened. It doesn't happen overnight. That's the thing about work. It doesn't show up right away, but if you keep at it, you notice you get better. And this is where being a leader really, really stands out to me, because when I first started going into the rink early, I was the only one. I would go out there with a coach. We'd work on passing. I was never a great skater. I'm not a good athlete by any means, but I work at it. I was the only one out there. In a week, there's another guy. He'd come with me. He's like, what are you doing out there with the coaches before practice? I'm just working on this and that. Then there'd be 3 guys. By the end of my sophomore year, half the team was coming out. By the time I was a senior, I had the whole team coming out, doing drills before practice, doing drills after practice. And we went from a bottom cellar team in a 10-team division. We were 8th place now. Not bad, not bad. Like, we weren't a good team, because like we were playing some tie-end talent, but still, like we're playing against like the Zach Parisis and the Jonathan Taves of the world. So we were like, it was just a little bit of a, disparity. But we did our best, and we won games, and the players were improving. And after my senior season, I met my wife, luckily enough, and we got engaged, and I was lucky enough to go play professional. And this is where I really, really ran into some serious, like, if you think, this is what kind of is funny. In college, everyone's around the same talent level, so everyone, if you're a skilled guy, you can get by. You don't have to work as hard as other guys. When you get to the pro level, and it's like this with business, I truly believe that. I work a little engineering now. It's the guys who work hard that go the furthest. So when I got to the NHL, I, again, was not the best player by any means. I started in the AHL, got a break, got called up to the NHL, and this is where I ran into some of the most frustrating days of my life, because you run across people, and I hate to name names, so I'm not going to, but you run across guys who are first-round draft picks, like I'm talking top 5 in the NHL, and we go into the weight room, and I'm squatting, and they throw a broomstick on their back and start squatting. It's just like, what are you doing with your talent? And they're just sitting there squatting a broomstick, and they think it's like funny. So those people get weeded out instantly, like absolutely, like within the first 2 or 3 years, you can tell they're gone. And this is where you realize, if you want to perfect your craft, if you're whatever you do, if you're a finance guy, if you're a builder, if you build greenhouses, you have to work at your craft. You can't just like rely on your God-given abilities. God gives you these gifts for a reason. You have to use them. And at this point in my faith journey, I'm still not baptized, but my wife is the one who kind of introduced me. So I'm going to church, and I'm starting to realize, well, okay, maybe, this is something I should look into. And I'm going to church, and this is in the NHL. It's a very strange thing, and this is why I think it's truly imperative for these kids at this school, because the lack of role models that we have in this country and in the States is just insane. Kids nowadays look up to, Justin Bieber. You're a big Justin Bieber fan. Like, the moral compass is not there for the people we look up to. Like, it's sad that the only person in the culture right now who is like talking about God is Kanye West. It's very bizarre to me that that's where we're at in this country, but it's the lack of role models that we have is just staggering, and I feel like people crave for it. I used to go out and party with actors and celebrities and all the major sports people, and it's funny, we're like big parties, like it's just insane, debauchery. I kind of just stayed on the perimeter, but at the end of the day, you talk to these guys, and they're all just sad, and they're all searching for something, and they're all just really inside just craving something. And it's God. It's obvious. Like, it's there. The answer's there. They just don't know what the answer is. And it's sad that the kids these days look up to these people. They see them on Twitter and Instagram and Bieber. You probably listen to them in your car. Like, it's just... So, I don't know. You just got that face. So, the haircut. And so I'm in the NHL now, and this is where I really learned what true leadership and true coaching meant. Because you have to deal with these egos, and that's what happens when you get to this level. Everybody has an ego. Everybody thinks they're the best. And I learned that the true superstars, I played with the best players in hockey. I played against Yager. I played with Joe Thornton and Taves and Kane and Gabrick and everybody, Lundqvist. The common theme with the top echelon players, the Crosbys, they have zero ego at all. None. They are completely humble. They don't think they're the best at anything. If they see something that they're not good at, they acknowledge it, and then they try to be better than you. I was the best fighter in the league, in my opinion, for 5 to 6 years. Nobody could beat me up. I had a few guys who were close. That guy was the second toughest guy in the league that year. I broke his cheekbone, and he was out for like a month. So I was good at what I did. So Jonathan Taves used to come for me for fighting lessons. No kidding. The guy never fought in his life. He wanted to know just in case he got into a couple straps. And lo and behold, that year he fought Getzlaff, and he fought somebody else, and he did pretty well. I'm like, oh, there you go, Johnny. You're welcome. But it's because those guys do not have a humble bone in their body. And I think that's what you have to do in order to succeed. You're not the best at anything. Joe Thornton, one day, I came to camp one year. I always thought I came in good shape. I was the first guy there. I was there super early. I want to make a good impression. Jumbo's upstairs riding the bike before training camp, where you get bagged every day in training camp, like you get killed. He's on minute 45 on the bike, and he's just drenched in sweat. And he did that every single day. And for those of you who don't know Joe Thornton, he's a Hall of Famer. He was probably 40 years old at the time, and he's in there. You know, that's not a joke. He probably was. But it takes that commitment and that level of just drive to be the best. It doesn't happen. You're not just, I'm skilled, I'm going to be the best. It just doesn't happen. You have to have that drive. So when I would go to teams, I'd be like, okay, I'm terrible at skating. I'm going to watch everybody. Like, everybody can be my teacher. I'm bad at shooting. I'm going to watch Burnsy. I'm bad at, like, I wasn't always the best fighter. My teammate was Derek Bugard. We were good friends. I trained with him for 3, 4, 5 summers until he passed away. Like, you pick up tendencies along the way. And the thing, like I said earlier, that frustrated me the most, I would see these guys with this God-given talent, and they would not work at it. And that would be their downfall. I played fourth line most of my career, and there'd be this guy complaining because he's in another lineup, wanted to be first and second line, wasn't getting a fair chance, and I would just be like, what are you complaining about? You, like, work at it. Like, I would die to have your skill. If I had any kind of hands or feet, I'd be MVP of the league. You kidding me? Like, this guy's complaining because he's not on the power play. It just drove me absolutely bizarre, and it goes back to, like, if you're a ditch digger, be a good ditch digger. If you're on the fourth line, embrace it. I think that's why I lasted so long, because I didn't rock the boat. I liked being a fourth liner. I was good at it. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. If you're are you a volleyball player? If you're a soccer player, if you're a scorer and attack guy, be a good attack guy. Don't try to be a goalie. Don't try to be a midfielder or a defender. If you're a midfielder, be the best midfielder on the planet. Don't try to be something you're not. You have a gift, work at it. Sure, you can be other good things. The best coach I ever had, Jacques Lemaire. For those of you who don't know, he was a Hall of Fame coach, won a gazillion Stanley Cups with the Canadiens. He was my first coach. He said to me, Johnny, you're not going to score at all. You saw all my goals in my career right there. That was it. That was it. And I played for 10 years. That was it. And they showed the same one, I think, 4 or 5 times. So I wasn't a skilled player. He said, Johnny, you need to work on what you're good at. You're good at hitting, and you're good at hitting. So what we need you to do is you need to hit people. You need to be the best hitter in hockey. And that's it. And I said, okay, Jack. And that's what I did. So I worked on that every single day. And sure, I worked on other aspects of my game, but I didn't try to go out there and be a goal scorer. I wasn't going to dazzle people with I still can't. I play like with 50-year-old men now. I'm not the best player out there. I get it. You know, I know my limitations, and I think that's key. And today, it's like, don't try to do too much. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Like, not everyone in here has gifts. God gave us all gifts. And they're not the same gifts. They're different. And that's okay. We're all not the same. We need doctors. We need lawyers. We need hockey players. We need everything. So everyone has to just stop trying to do everything. Just focus on what you're good at and really, really hammer that in. And it's amazing how far you'll go. And that's the first round guy wanted to be a power play guy. He wanted to be the best player on the team. Like, buddy, not happening. Be a good fourth liner, and you'll still be in the league. But he just moaned and complained, and he was out of the league. Gone. Bus ticket back down to the AHL. So it's just interesting how that happens. Everyone always asks me about captains. What does it take to be a good captain? I've had some good leaders. I've had some bad leaders. And it's interesting. I touched on it earlier. The difference between a great captain like Jonathan Taves is he, like I said earlier, doesn't have an ego. He's humble. And he's just approachable. He gets to know everybody. Like I said, was not a great player. He would come up and make a connection with me. He'd be like, Johnny, how's it going? I remember one practice, I thought it should be playing. I was upset. We were playing a physical team. I came in the locker room and snapped my stick. And I was upset. He comes up to me, he's like, we need you. Stay with us. Like, we don't want to lose you here. You're a big part of this team. And this is a guy who plays 82 games, Olympics, like won Stanley Cups, gold medals, and he takes time out of his day to talk to this douche who's breaking his stick in a shower because I was being a baby and I was throwing a hissy fit. And that's what a leader needs. You have to treat everybody the same way. He's the same guy who on the bench, if Duncan Keith would be screaming and complaining because you weren't giving him the puck, Duncan, sit down, stop it, like screaming at him. And it takes that. It takes that kind of commitment to just treat everybody the same. We're all the same. We're not different. Just because some guy can put up 30 goals and other guys can't. It takes that accountability as a leader to know, like, I'm in charge. I treat everybody the exact same way. Whereas other leaders, I've had captains who are terrible. I had a captain one time who, he was so concerned about getting points. If he didn't get his cookies, as we call them in hockey, he would just melt right down. And you can't have that. You cannot have an ego as a leader. And it's so funny. I don't know. I won't tell that story. But no. Okay, one time we were, Okay. So we were in Dallas, and we just finished the game. We won 5-1. I'm not going to say who the person was. He's sitting to me. The other guy's, some guy's sitting to the left. And our captain's so upset that he didn't score. After a 5-1 win, he's untying his skates. He kicks off his skate by accident and flies across the air, just missed my throat, the blade, but cuts the guy's wrist next to me, and just blood all over my face. And so I'm bleeding. I'm getting bled on, and the guy's freaking out beside me because he thinks he's going to die. So I grab his wrist, and our captain's still complaining that the guy didn't give him the puck. I'm like, what the? Are you crazy? And so it just was very eye-opening how terrible leaders can be. So if you're a captain in here, don't do that. That's not good. So anyways, the reason I'm here, honestly, is because of that, the All-Star game. So throughout my career, I dealt with plenty of adversity. I've had people tell me I was bad at hockey. I've had coaches literally look at me and say, you should quit hockey. You should give up. You should, explore other options. And that's why I got my degree in mechanical engineering. I didn't think I was going to play hockey. It was just a bonus. I thought I was going to get a free degree and then go and work at home in St. Catharines. But luckily, I made the NHL, and there was a fan voting process where they voted me into the NHL All-Star game. And during this time, I was really connected with my faith, and I'm glad I was, because I was just getting hate mail relentlessly. Yeah, real funny. That guy sent one of the letters, I think. Yeah, Vancouver fan, obviously. A funny story about Vancouver, I was here for the playoffs in Chicago, and we were walking downtown, and this little old lady drives by. It was before Game 7, and she honks her horn. She had the oxygen tanks in her nose. I was like, oh, that's great. This little old lady, Vancouver's such a nice town. And I think she's going to say, good luck. It's the day of the game. She goes, bam, bam, like everyone waves. And she goes like this, bam, Canucks rule. I'm like, whoa. Thanks a lot, Vancouver. Keep it classy. But anyways, let's get back on track here. So this is where my faith was really tested during this whole process, because I was getting a lot of negative feedback. And I talked to someone from the league, and they questioned how I was as a father. They said, how would your children respond to this? Would they say you were a good father? At that point, I had 2 daughters. My wife was pregnant with our next 2. And it really, it jarred me. Like, how would my kids, think of this? And it just jarred my faith. I'm like, why am I getting attacked? Those are my twins right there. But it was the epitome of God working through people. And I truly think he does that. And I hope he works through you guys tonight. And we raised a lot of money. But my wife was just such a rock at that point. And this is where I think it's really important to have a support system. And it seems like with the teachers and the staff and even our teammates at this school, I should say, all right, I feel like I'm part of the family already. But the support system here, you have a good support system here. And I needed that at that time, or else I would have folded right away and never gone to the All-Star game. I leaned on my wife. I leaned on my coaches and teammates, because when you're being attacked, whether it's by the media or the devil, honestly, like that's what it is. This negativity that comes at me, and I know some people here don't believe in the faith. I truly believe God got me through that process. If it wasn't for him working through people and me being able to lean on them. I'm 6'8", I'm tough. I was just a shell of myself at that point. I was just getting bombarded by media and letters and requests for interviews, and every single one was, why are you doing this? You're a terrible hockey player. Like, you're taking someone's spot. Shane Doan could be on the team. This person could be on the team. You're making a joke of yourself. What's going on? Just all this negativity. God works in weird ways, and he's like, you should go. Use this as an opportunity to try to, uplift other people. I think I'm doing that. I hope I am. So I went to the game, won the All-Star game, won the league MVP, and on the thing, it's like a rags to riches story, whatever. I made good, and I truly, truly believe that without my faith in God, that never, ever, ever would have happened. So I got baptized 3 years ago. People always ask me what the best day of my life was. Yeah, right? People always ask me the best day of my life, and they just assume it's that, because it was such a great day. I don't get me wrong, it was an unbelievable day, but my best day was when I was baptized by far. I was welcomed into the church, and it just truly changed my life, because I'm truly happy now. I know who I am, and I just feel like I have I'm happy. I'm not searching for stuff now. So it's cool. So anyways, we're tight on time. I know, Steve, I'm trying to wrap it up. So anyways, if I'm going to leave you with something, I just say, enjoy your journey. Don't get too caught up in plans. People nowadays are trying to plan 2 years out, 3 years out, 5 years out. The one thing I did do right along my life was I enjoyed the ride. I always thought I was going to be done playing in the NHL the year I was in it. So I truly embraced everything, and I try to do that to this day. Whether it's, changing diapers, sure, I get upset. I try to enjoy every step of the way, because it's you never know what's going to happen. Sure, if it's a blowout up the back, I'm upset. But, I try to, see the light and everything. And I call my wife in. But for those of you athletes here, like, really, this is where you form yourself. You form your friendships. You form who you are. You form your work ethic. So really, truly work on that. If you make mistakes now, it'll affect you the rest of your life. So, I don't know, I'll leave it with that. Just enjoy where you're at, and I don't know. God bless everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here. Thank you.